Hello everyone, our dear ladies and gentlemen, our audience from all over the world, from the America, Croatia. Welcome to our first podcast. This is ACAP's podcast. It is called Boom. Our first guest today in our Boom episode is Mr. Slaven Kordic. We know each other good. We are both from Croatia, from Zagreb, and it is very strange to speak on English with you because all the time we are speaking on Croatian. So maybe sometimes we will speak something in Croatian. So, dobar dan svima.
Hello, everyone.
Yes.
Dobar dan svima.
Yes, I think that our audience who is listening now or watching understands, and they will be happy to hear some Croatian words.
Sure. We also say boom in Croatian, boom.
Yes, we say boom,
and
of
podcast
course.
is also podcast. So
Yes. This podcast will be special because we will listen, learn, and grow with the people like you. The best thing is by example, if you agree. I think that we can really learn a lot from you. From your career, from your example, things which are behind you and in front of you. But you're also in a strong connection with the ACAP.
yes, I am. Yeah.
So
For the last 2 years, actually.
yes, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when we bought the Museum of Illusions, I think we were going to be discussing about them today.
Yes, of course.
We actually were invited by ACAP members from New York on a conference, and it was one of the best conferences I've ever attended. We were, people were interested what we're doing, the expats, and we had also opportunity to present our case, the Museum of Illusions. And actually, we established a lot of contacts and networks we've been using ever since. So, we're very thankful to ACAP and how they hosted us and what they've supported us so far.
And that is the mission of ACAP.
Yeah, I know it is.
To do those network things.
Yeah, it is. And I have to say, I talked to one of the founding members of ACAP, and I said to him, quote unquote, Boba, this really works. So we are really successful with the cooperation so far.
And also, this example by the podcasts is also a wonderful thing to watch our people from Croatia or from America or I hope from all over the world to maybe do better networks, to hear some stories from really great people till next conference.
Yeah, I think the next one is going to be hosted in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully we're going to be, able to host you in one of our museums, which is our flagship in Vegas. That would be actually our honor, even though we didn't discuss this with the founders now. So let's see how that develops.
Wow, it will be really wonderful. I didn't say at the beginning, I said that you're a really big inspiration, but we will today speak about the big investment. I mean, you're doing many investments.
Yes.
You're working in a really
Investment world.
Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about Invera?
So Invera is a private equity fund, which was actually founded in the midst of COVID. So this is actually my second business endeavor, where both me and my partner, so we started our M&A business first, then we moved for private equity. What's very interesting is that the first endeavor was, I believe, in the midst of financial meltdown back in 2008. And now the new one, raising the private equity fund, actually happened during the COVID. So that's how we started our business. Obviously, for the last what's now already 20 years of business or so. So Invera is a private equity fund which invests in let's say brands, and we like to scale them, potentially globally, and that's why I would say that. Museum of Illusions is one of the let's say things which we wanted to show what we can do both to our investors but also to the local market.
Mm-hmm. Museum of Illusions did before also big things, and you recognize them. But what are the most important things why you wanted to catch them, if I can say that?
Yeah, sure. So, we recognized that the company was already, present in, I believe, 20 something countries when we invested in the business. What we saw that, we can bring in the expertise in terms of management, new people bringing to the business. But also we saw that, we need to focus on particular market. And we did I would say very thorough market analysis where we saw that, we can't focus on everything at once. You can't focus on Europe, on Asia and on the United States and Middle East at that point. So we said, we want to focus on US. Why US? Because obviously it's the best market. For us, the disposable income is the highest. People have obviously more money than in the rest of the world. So we actually focused on that. And we said, okay, let's hire the new management. Let's transfer also the operations to US and start opening our own museum. So until that point, the Museum of Illusions was only a franchise. But then we basically said, okay, let's not continue only with the franchise model. Let's build our own corporate stores. Corporate museums, and we opened so far, I believe, 6 museums, and this year we're opening an additional 6 museums, and I think we're opening around 12 new franchises only this year. So we should be on a number of 60 or 62 museums by the end of 2024.
In all world.
In the whole world, I believe we're going to have around 24 museums in Northern America. So I think 3 in Canada and the rest 21 in the US.
Company from Croatia and also you from Croatia.
Yes. It was... Yeah, it's interesting, when you buy such a company, first you're, very excited. You get to travel to US all the time. You get to work, in let's say crazy hours because, obviously you got to work from 9 to 5 in Croatia, but then at 5, the business starts in US, so the entire company, not only, the Metamorfosa, which is, the franchisor of the Museum of Illusions brand, but also Invera as the investor, we changed our working habits completely. So, you start later in the in the day, only to work until, 10, 11, so you can serve the requests coming from US market.
Wow. Did American members of ACAP help you?
As I said, I think at the very beginning. So yes, they did. They helped us with building we call it, there are 2 things, if you want to expand to certain market, you want to have, let's say, the basic ecosystem. So you want to have, the auditors, the lawyers, the accountants, the consultants you need, for the business. And they helped us with that a lot. But also, for the, let's say, more strategic stuff, like, putting us in touch with headhunters, putting us in touch with talent directly, telling us or guiding us through this, let's say, process. This also came as a help from ACAP members.
It's so nice to hear. Well, you are understanding very well landscape and climate in US markets, also here in Croatia. Can you a little bit tell us about how situation is there, how is here, what are maybe market trends now for 2024 from your perspective, maybe?
Yeah, so I think in US, I think 2023 was quite, let's say, challenging. We had obviously the inflation, we had the rising interest rates, government indebtedness. You have a couple of banks went bankrupt, and there was a lot of talk about the looming recession. And then what U.S. economy proved actually is that it's quite resilient. And now even recently the interest rates were announced that they're going to go down. So we're thinking that, let's say, the outlook for 2024 is quite good or quite strong. So we were thinking that we're going to see a good 2024 in the U.S. In Croatia, 23 was, I would say, a very good year. We had very, very good consumer spending, very strong tourism again. And the interest rates were relatively okay. But I think next year, we're seeing that half of the European Union is already in recession. we're seeing that the Germany and France as the largest motors of European Union are somehow Germany is already in recession, France is flat. So I think this is going to possess obviously the challenge that this trend is going to spill over to Croatia.
Do you think that?
Yes, I do think that. Yes.
Could you share insights into the challenges and opportunities for Croatian entrepreneurs looking to establish themselves in the US market?
In the US market, I would say there are I would say two. We were having actually two of the biggest challenges were talent acquisition, but the talent acquisition in a way that you need to sort of to be able to hire the best talent, to actually know how to do it, to understand the market, to see how things are being done there. And then the second thing is obviously it's not the same to hire a person in Croatia and US even for the same position. The salary there's obviously salary discrepancies.
Mm-hmm.
So that possesses a challenge. Both, let's say, to acquire them, but also in the management. In the management of the entire organization. The second, let's say, challenge we were facing or are still facing actually is the financing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's we're a Croatian company looking to conquer the U.S. market. Usually it's the other way around. Usually it's the U.S. companies who are coming
Yes.
here, and they have much deeper pockets than we do. So we again we need to we also got help from ACAP in that respect. So I would say those are the two things which are very 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 much let's say challenging in the U.S. Things like whatever you pay in Croatia. So for the lawyers, for the consultants, it's times 6 to times 10 in the US. So it's not only like that you need to have enough money. You need to have money which you never planned to do, that you're going to be needing. At least not, obviously once we went there and we were there, we knew how much money we need. But prior to or when we were thinking about it, we didn't have let's say the exact number we're going to be needing for it. So these are the two, let's say, biggest challenges. I think the third one is definitely time zones. So we're talking about people which are 6 to 9 hours before us. So it's really challenging, to manage a company which actually does business in Denver, Las Vegas, so it's 8-9 hours difference, or New York, which is 6 hours difference.
How many museums do you have in US and Canada? What did you tell me?
I believe that at this point we have 18 museums.
Wow.
And I think by the end of the year it should be 24.
It started as a Croatian startup,
Yes.
and it really did a great success from my perspective, but I think from perspective of many people, your results are showing that. But in a crowded marketplace like Washington, now Vegas, in other cities, what do you think? Which factors contribute in that success?
I would say that Museum Illusion has a really, really good product. Okay, so we're catering like really wide demographics. We're catering people from, as we like to say, from 3 to 99. So from 3 years old to 99, you can have fun in our museum. And this was actually the reason why this concept was so well accepted in the US. The second reason is, as you can have the best product and the best idea, but if you don't have the management or the people, it only stays as an idea. So I think what we did in complementing the management, hiring people, and just to give you an example, when we bought Museum of Illusions, we had 7 employees.
And now?
Now it's 350 plus. I think by the end of the year it should be around 500, maybe even 600 people. Organization. So it's really tremendous growth, and it's, as I said, one thing is to have a good product, one thing is to have a vision, but if you don't have people who are committed and who are working day in and day out to do these things or this idea to come to fruition, it's nothing without it. So
yes, I wanted to ask you, what are maybe the lessons for new Croatian startups who want to do things like like this. But I think these things which you told me now are the most important.
Yes,
lessons.
maybe a couple of other things. The Americans are really straightforward. So they're compared to us. I would say they really have high appreciation of their time, which is I would say not to that extent case in Croatia. So no BS. The meetings last for 15, 20, 30 minutes. You get your possibility to pitch, you get your possibility to present yourself, but sometimes it's 15, 20, or 30 minutes. Then this is like nothing unusual, I would say. They just appreciate time more than we do. Then the something which took me really by surprise was that people are willing to share the information and their contacts for free. So irrespective of whether you're going to do the deal with them or not, they just they help you. And this is I would say this is not the case here in Croatia. Not at least to that extent. What else? These are the two things which come to mind immediately when you mention this.
Can you tell?
Yeah, the third thing would be we just learned actually, and this is really interesting because I've been in this business for I think 12 years. So to do a deal, so to buy a company or to negotiate something, in the US it takes like 3 to 4 months, and in Europe on average it's like 9 months to a year. So everything is faster. And maybe the last thing is that the communication, the way how they communicate, not only that they're more direct, that they're they very easily communicate what they want, what are their needs and wants, but they also communicate really fast. So whatever you send them, like an email, they respond like in a couple of minutes. So
here you're waiting for response.
yeah,
I mean,
sometimes if you're dealing with some financial institutions, you never get an answer. So
yes.
yeah, so it's really completely different. And I would say those are the lessons learned, or let's say my takes, where I was taken by surprise, but really obviously positively, are let's say those 4 things.
How is to work with them? And it is really great opportunity to upgrade also yourself, isn't it? Or
Yeah,
what do you think?
I really do enjoy working with the, let's say, the Anglo-Saxon model is the closest to me. In my career I had luck. I worked with my former partner in my M&A business. Our M&A business actually was a born New Yorker. So I got the possibility to learn a lot about the American culture, the way they do business, and obviously then you can compare it to what you see on the Croatian market. So I think in that respect I was lucky, but still you learn every day. So if you ask me again, what would be a suggestion? The suggestion would be to start communicating with people from the U.S. and then you will start noticing or picking up on little things about it. Maybe again another suggestion. Why not? If you need to talk to the Americans or our expats from the United States, why not? Go to ACAP conference, which is going to be in Las Vegas, and take it from there. Put it on your bucket list. Go there and visit the conference. You'll be able to meet with 500 or I don't know how many people, and discuss with them, present your case, and then as I said, it's not nuclear science or nuclear physics. It's something you need to pick up in conversing and exchanging, or communicating with people.
How did you get involved in everything this which we are talking about in M&A and private equity? How your career started? What were the steps?
Very early. I started my professional career as a swimmer. I was in our national Croatian team. This was actually my first job. And then afterwards, I started studying at the University of Economics in Zagreb. And on the 3rd year, I started working as an intern in a private equity fund. So my first job was working in private equity. And then there I met my partner, with whom I'm now working for more than 20 years. We actually, after 5 years, we sort of had this epiphany saying, we don't want to work for anyone anymore. This was number one. And then the second thing was, there was obviously a lot of advisors coming to us on the market, and we saw that the market is completely underserved or under-advised, so to speak. So we actually we went we went from private equity, where we have our, let's say, safe corporate jobs, into the new endeavor. As I said, at the very beginning, this was in the midst of a financial meltdown back in 2008. And then we developed this. And then after, let's say, 5, 6, 7 years of developing this company, becoming the leading regional M&A boutique advisory company, we actually started we started thinking, or let's say dreaming, about having a fund one day. And then, fast forward, it only took us 5 years. Fast forward, we did it. And our first investment we're talking today about is Museum of Illusions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you tell me...
16 years of life in 1 minute.
Yes. But I heard sport. I also... when I was preparing myself for this interview, podcast, I've seen that you were a swimmer. Can you tell me about the sport values which are now very important for you in your business life?
Look, my partner is a chess player, so for him obviously it's brains, and for me it's perseverance. I was counting tiles, when I was swimming.
No, but you know what I think when I ask you for values.
Yeah, I would say.
You said I was a professional swimmer. It was my first job.
Yeah. No, I think definitely excellence. I do think that you need to have perseverance, and you need to be. A lot of people quit all the time. And as I said, we tried to raise the fund. It took us 5 years. I would say 98% of people would have said, can't do it. Simply
cancel everything.
Yeah, cancel everything. It doesn't matter how much money we've spent. Just leave it be. I don't want to hear about the fund anymore. But we did it, and this is one of the things I'm really proud of in my career so far.
Yeah. How is to live in your body, if I can say it? How to manage? How to manage private life, family, business? You now told me we are in different time zones: America, Croatia, Europe. But you're also working with the whole world. How to manage everything? Because it is really a risk job. It is stressful.
It is.
How to balance everything?
I don't think it's unmanageable if you want to do it on your own. So I think the answer lies in that you need to surround yourself with bright people who also buy into your vision. But not only in Invera's case, but I think also on the portfolio level case, like Museum of Illusions and other companies where we have invested, and those people take a part of that burden off of your shoulders. So I think that's the only way how you can do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be home ever, nor I would have time for anything in my life. Not even for this podcast.
Yes, I understand it. We are happy you're here. Well, I have also a few questions for you. We were talking about your career, how all it started, where it is now. Can you tell me about in your experience, what role does networking play in the success of Croatian professionals and business, both in Croatia and and in the United States? You now told me it is great to come to conference, of course, put it on your bucket list, but in general.
Yeah, I think it's quintessential. So it's without the success, it's without it. Obviously, in today's world where things are developing or really fast, I think having a good network of people really can help you to get money on time, which is very important. Get to the right talent on time. Before they are hired by someone else, and then obviously to realize your idea. So I think without good networking, I don't believe simply that you can do business nowadays in anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, now I will come back to startups.
Okay.
Considering your expertise, can you highlight specific sectors, maybe, or industries?
Yeah, I usually hate those type of questions, but I do have an
but
answer.
I
do have an answer.
Where Croatian startups have the potential for significant growth, maybe in the US market.
What I can tell you is we're negotiating with a couple of companies. So I'll mention. I will not mention the companies, but I will mention the sectors. So there is obviously engineering. So Croatia is renowned of engineering. We have a lot of engineering companies, and we know, or we're actually talking with a company which already conquered the European market and is now looking to expand to US. So, and they came to us. We started discussing this as an opportunity. We having this expertise, having done it now with the Museum of Illusions, and they, who have the technology and a really, really good product, which is in need in the United States. So that's, let's say, number one. Also, I think the engineering companies who are providing services like commissioning. I think back in the days, Končar was doing stuff like that. There was this one other company I won't mention, but they were acquired by ABB. They also did something like that. So, Croatian engineers capable of commissioning a thermal power plant or hydropower power plant, something like that. So we've seen that, and I think we're going to be seeing this much more in the future. And then the third thing, or the second thing, sorry, obviously gaming. There was a huge success. Nanobit did a huge success. A couple of other startups also sold their games really successfully in the U.S. market, and we know that there are companies which are in this field who are looking to expand to U.S. Franchise business, both in services, and food and beverage. I think you obviously. We have a joint acquaintance who does I would say a lot on this market to promote the franchising business, but there are now I think 3 or 4 really interesting food franchises which could do something if they resolve the issue of supply or sourcing. I believe that they could be doing something really nice on in the U.S. market. And last but not least is our tourism. So tourism is a reverse export. And I think the more we travel to US, the more people know about us. When I say about us, meaning the Croatians, they all want to visit our beautiful coast. They want to see our cultural heritage. So I would say those are the sectors we think we will be seeing more and more in competing on the US soil.
I know that you don't like that question, but thank you for answering. Also, with the rise of remote work, how do you see this trend impacting the collaboration between Croatia and the American professionals, and are there specific opportunities emerging from this shift?
Again, I can speak only from my experience. So I think this remote thing, as I said, we have a couple of investments so far, and we do sort of encourage remote work. So we are familiar with it. But again, this is something which needs to be agreed between the individual employee, or let's say employees, and the employer. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is you gotta do. So you gotta understand when you buy something and you want to scale it. So as we said, first you gotta have a good product, and then you have a good management team. So it's I would say, I would dare to say, some parts of or departments within the company are much tougher to remote than others. There are obviously some things like admin, I don't know, maybe even finance, where people can be dormant or can be working at home. But for instance, if you want to expand to US or to China and to have a development officer sitting somewhere home in Zagreb, that's not going to fly. So I think this needs to be assessed carefully, and as I said, each individual employee needs to find the right, and the employer and employee need to find a joint. We would say in Croatian "tan jezik." We need to find a mutual solution to it.
Wonderful thing is now you were mentioning all over the world, China, US. You have 62
By the end of the year, it should be
it
60,
should be-
60 something. Yeah.
It's wonderful thing that everything is making, can I say making or producing here for the museums all over the world, also in Croatia.
Exactly. So all the exhibits, the entire R&D is based in Croatia. Even though we do have global sourcing, so, we're working obviously with some neuropsychologists from Harvard University. We're working with studios which do movies for Marvel, for DC Comics. But at the end of the day, all these ideas are being sourced to Croatia, and then our team of people. And it's funny to say or to hear in Croatia that you say you have a global research center in Oroslavlje, but it's that is true. So these people are really working really hard to pick up on all the ideas which come from abroad, or they taught them themselves. And they, then they make an illusion which we're fitting in our museums across the world. So it is a remarkable thing.
And also, you are the biggest or the largest chain
By the
of
number, yes,
private museums
in the world.
in the world. It is really big thing. For the first time, I heard for thing edutainment.
Edutainment, yes.
Education and
entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a mashup of those two words. We're actually positioned. The entertainment sector is sort of a position in three, let's say, brackets. First one being the big entertainment parks like Disney. Then you have the let's say parks or amusement parks. Where you usually spend a day, like Gardaland, for example.
or Disneyland.
Disneyland is more like 3 or 4 days, so it's much
Yes,
larger.
yes.
So you spend more time there, and you're in the hotel, and you eat there and stuff like that. And this is more of a or water parks. Yeah, you go for a day, you go with your family, you spend $300, $400, $500. And then the next level is the fastest growing now in the world, and it's called Midway. So it's the space where you usually spend up to 2 hours. Okay, and this is actually where the museum fits. And then within this, obviously you have like trampoline parks, you have, as I mentioned, mini golfs, indoor mini golfs, all different stuff. And then you have the museums, and within the museum segment, obviously you have Madame Tissot, which is the wax museum. But we positioned ourselves as something where people of all generations can learn why your eyes are telling you one thing and your brain is telling you the other thing. So it does have an educational component, and that's why actually we're very successful in Europe and more now in the US, where we're actually bringing in school groups, from elementary school, high school, where they can learn something.
It is great. What is your goal? With the museum.
With the Museum of Illusion, of course you can ask me. So obviously we're a private equity fund. So wherever we buy, we need to sell at a certain point. So it's the idea is to develop the museums for a couple of more years, and then to simply exit to much larger, I would say, private equity, or a much larger strategic player like the ones we've mentioned just now.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, okay. One private question. I mean, private. What is the best advice you ever received?
To be open to new things in life. The ideas, the different opinions, different cultures. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's I would say that's the best advice. Taught by my mother, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe the worst.
The worst is let's do it tomorrow, or as my colleague Joža, who works with me in Invera, would say, the opposite of carpe diem.
Great. Thank you a lot, Slaven, for being with us.
It was a pleasure.
Yes, also the pleasure was mine. I'm happy that now we have some place like this, which will be in digital world all over the world, that we will have opportunity to listen stories like yours, example like yours, to have opportunity to learn, to grow, Also, I want to you, all of you, how we can say, we have cross fingers for other things.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yes, for other things which you want to, or you're planning to have. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, ACAP. See you in the next episode. You're in our first episode.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me to the first episode, and thanks to ACAP for giving me this opportunity to be the first one.
Yes, I hope we will see each other in the conference. We met each other in conference here in Zagreb.
Yes, that's where we met each other. Yes.
Thank you for everything. Thank you, ACAP. See you in the next episode. Be with us. Subscribe on our channel. Listen us, and see you all. Bye.